Good morning. This is Jim from No Strings Attached Street Ministries. Today is probably one of the toughest days of my life. Sort of let you in on the inside of me and my life, in hopes that you all could truly understand. You know, you can love somebody from the bottom of your soul every day of your life. But no matter how much you love them, I'm convinced that some people you just can't have love returned. They just don't get it. Let's start back when I was a young man. My whole life as a young man, I never dreamed a dream of ever being married. Um, I always struggled with, no matter how much I gave in love to other people, seems like I was always the underdog and never was able to return or have that returned. Like the old saying goes, my mama even told me I had to tie a stake around my neck to get people to play with me. It's been a long, hard battle. Has it been something that I needed to learn? Or is my love just so pure that people just can't accept it? August 16th of 1986, I got married. I married the sister of one of my roommates. She was in a whole different state. And I professed that I would marry her one night in his personal home. That he had a picture of her on his wall. And I looked up at that picture. I says, you know, I'm going to marry that girl one day. And he's like, who? And I said, that girl in that picture. And he's like, nah, that's my sister. She's engaged and she's in college and you probably would never even meet her. Needless to say, 2 weeks later, she arrived at their house. And that was his mommy and dad's house. We were watching the dogs for Christmas one year. Shows you the power of your words and how you can speak life into your own life. Because 2 weeks later she showed up. A month later I asked her out for the very first time. About 6-8 months down the road I proposed. Even though I was hesitant in a way that, she was coming off of a broken relationship. I said, that's okay, I could probably fix her anyway. And I know I could love her. And who knows, maybe we can have a good life together. And I did just that. I went on and married her on August 16th, 1986. She's probably one of the most beautiful brides I ever saw. She was my queen. I fell deeply in love. And that love evolved. Every day, I always told her in our young life, I says, honey, you follow me across this world. I can't guarantee you riches. I can't guarantee you a good life. But one thing I can guarantee you, it's going to be fun, it's going to be real. As long as you're by my side. We can endure and do anything and get through anything that's ever happened. Never could happen. Because I always knew as a young boy going to church myself. I remember where God tells us in the Bible that one can defeat 1,000 demons, but two bonded together can defeat 10,000. That shows you how powerful it is when you have someone join you. And that's not just in marriage, that's in anything, ministries, so on and so forth. I see the few that's attached and has bonded with me, even in my ministry. And the miracles that we've seen and achieved and allowed God to work through us and touch others is utterly mind-blowing. I spoiled this lady. I know I did. I tried to give her everything and anything I could possibly do. Yeah, we've had our ups and downs. I'm an entrepreneur, so yes, we've had our good times and our bad times and successes and failures. But you know what? She never wanted for anything. She never was on a budget. She was able to go and spend freely whatever her heart desired. She was given. I tried to keep her in a nice home. I've always tried to provide her a nice car to drive. Literally for 12 years of our marriage, she had a brand new car every 2 years. She had diamonds and gold. That was what I bought her all the time. I decorated her just like a queen. Then out of no fault of mine, my business partner had a motorcycle accident using drugs on a dirt bike and become injured. He was in a coma for almost 6 months, I think, or longer. Never thought anything about it, but I knew his wife was a little fickle about it, and you know, she was not the loving type, and I don't know, she decided to not even go show up or even visit him hardly at all at the hospital. That highly upset my wife. So my wife would drop my children off at the daycare center and go over and sit with him every single day that he was in that hospital. Reading books to him, talking to him, hoping that one day he would wake up. I saw nothing wrong with that because he was like my brother. But they hid from me one thing, and the most valuable thing that hurt me, that broke me, was that they hid from me how it happened. Now, I raised a business with integrity. My business was a drug-free company. I insisted on it. And drugs is what took me down. I gave up. After he come to, I taught him how to redrive. I taught him how to pretty much walk. We had a small party at his home, a welcome back party. And when I left to go get a soda and came back unexpectedly, they were in the conversation of one of his friends looked at him and said, "See, I told you shouldn't have been smoking that dope and climbing on that dirt bike." And at that time, I was holding a glass in my hand, and he was facing this big mirror in the dining room. He looked up in that mirror, and he saw the look on my face. And it totally petrified him. I paid to fly his family back and forth from Hawaii to be with him for those 6 months. I paid for a hotel room for them every single day. They came and gone at my expense. I had a car rented that they drove on. I tried to do everything that I could do to have support for him there. And that was the thanks I got. Now, from not taking the advice of my lawyer and my accountant both to fire him, I was 50% owner or 51% owner of the company. And they advised me to fire him and to separate myself as far away from him as I could possibly get, and worry and focus on doing nothing but restructuring my business to where it can be ran just from me. I was brought up and raised with morals that my mom taught me that family is family. And even if we've got to sink, we sink together. But when he told me, or when I found out that he had done this because of drugs, the one thing that was totally against my inner being, it literally crushed me, and I gave up. Soon after, I shut the business down, and I took on all his responsibilities. I took on all his debt, and I filed for bankruptcy. And I lived a pure hell life because of it. I went from riches to rags instantly. The lawyers that they sent after me was so vicious that it literally destroyed us. I was already weak because of what I've been through. So I bought a home in Northport and I ran to try to hide. My wife following. The year 2000 finally coming around. And on our anniversary, we sat in the middle of the floor with the lights turned off. Power was shut off. So the kids were somewhere, I can't even remember where. I think they were over at Grandma's house. But we sat in the middle of the floor, signing our bankruptcy papers by candlelight, and eating leftover pizza. Yeah, the woman's been through hell. No fault of both of ours, but me being the man, I had to take responsibility, which I did. From that day on, something changed in this woman. She hated me. But yet she loved me. But there was something inside of her, a seed that was put into her heart, That was nothing but the most negative and pure evil seed I've ever seen or heard of. She always has been a very, I could say probably a strict mother in this time, which my kids were very young at that time, but she was a lady that would say no a lot. I just sort of blew it off. I'm a positive guy, so I've always tried to be positive, outlooking, and I want my children to experience life and to, to not all, God will protect them as much as I will. So if they fall off the bicycle riding it, oh well, which my daughter has done many times. It broken her arm, but yes, Mama said no, but she did it anyway. But I felt the just the words of no in their life was too much negative in my eyes. I went to work with my father. He got me a job with the company that he worked for, and literally refused for me to just sit down. So he tried to encourage me to go back to work, and he's been in the construction industry his whole life, which I grew up in that as well. So and they needed a superintendent at a certain job, and a job that was running way behind, so he called me over to join with this company and to try to help him out. And which I did. I went and joined the company, and worked there for about 6 months out of town. My wife came and saw me over the July 4th holiday. And she showed up at my motel room. I told her to just go there. Instead of going to the dirty job site, just go over there and sit, and I'll be home as soon as I can get off. And I called down at the office, and they give her a key, and she went up into the room and everything. Something, I don't know what took place, but she claimed that there was some note she found on my dresser, some girl's phone number, whatever. I don't have no clue. That something called me or something. I don't know what it was all about. But anyway, there was no note there. I mean, there was none. I don't do that. I've never cheated on my wife. And if there's any woman out there that can actually say that I've cheated on my wife since I've been married, you have the right to destroy me. So step up and play the game. Because I'll guarantee you there's not one out there that could ever claim that. Even when I was sinful, I was still faithful. No matter what I've done or what I could do to say that, she's always thought that. She said that she's forgiven that, which I asked for forgiveness even though I wasn't wrong, just to get her to drop it and get over it. I think honestly it was just her way of trying to put a seed in our marriage to where she had a reason to leave at any moment. Now that I look back, I'm sure that's exactly why it was planted. Was for just that reason, for her to have a reason to say goodbye. But I would and could not ever give her a reason to actually walk out. I've lived soon after I came home injured, and my whole life changed once again. Now I was no longer to even be able to provide for my family. I was told I would never even walk again. My kids were sitting at the table one day arguing and complaining just like any normal family, would, and young family, and they were fighting with each other, and I look over at her, I says, what are we doing wrong as parents? I just don't understand. I mean, my mommy raised me in a good, loving home. I loved both of my siblings. Yeah, we squabbled once in a while, but I still loved them, and they loved me. But it seems like my kids, every time they got together, would fight and carry on and act crazy. She examined her life as well, even though she lived, to me it seemed like probably under a little bit stricter lifestyle, but still was a Catholic. And the only common denominator that we found that was not there between the way that we were raised was that our parents took us to church. So I said, all right, cool. Well, maybe that's the problem. So out of just that, I was like, well, we'll go to church, see if that helps. Of course, in my mind, inside scheming, I was like, hey man, Mom can take the kids to church, I can find something to do on my Sunday, I fill it up. I was scheming that way and wouldn't even consider the Lord at that time. But the Lord kept breaking me down and breaking me down and breaking me down. I mean, He's taken my life from riches all the way to the dirt. I took my wife and kids to that church. And because I was on a walker, I beat my wife and kids to the front door, which was probably a good 200 yards away, it seemed like, or 100 yards away from the parking lot, maybe 50 yards. But by the time I wobbled up to the front door the best I could, inch by inch, I still reached the door way before they were. They were still in the parking lot. And I turned around at that moment and I literally cussed my kids and my wife out. I says, what in the blank are you doing? I beat you up here? You know what I mean? And she looks at me with this stern frown look. At that time I had language that would just about embarrass a sailor. But I tended up and I walked in the door and walked straight back up this little ramp thing up into the sanctuary and went in and sat down at the sanctuary, and I was saved that day. God talked on there and I literally was saved that day, thinking that I was going to just get out of it and get them into church and get them away from me and give me a chance to breathe. He changed me. He grabbed me and He twisted me and He turned my life around. Literally changed me. 180% turnaround. I mean, everything. I walked out of that church. We went to the mall, walked around a little bit, spent the rest of our day. I was on my salvation high, you could call it. When we got home, I was at the door and my wife gets out as normal, hollers at the little girl, said, hey Caitlin, get Daddy's walker out of the back of the car, help him get in the house. And she hops out on her side and gets out. I was already at the front door by then. And she says, Mommy, I don't see Daddy's walker. It's not here. See, God healed me that day and I didn't even realize it. And that walker was never been meant to be seen or found again. He's given me the strength and the ability to defeat what's wrong with me. Even though my body is still broken and my mind is still broken, I still deal with the pains every day. But through prayer every single morning, I pray those pains away. And I get to where I can actually walk. So I learned the power of prayer. I live it on a daily basis. But what I've noticed is I started to change. My wife claimed to have changed, but never really showed the fruit of it. God started using me in ministries and giving me my task. And I went on and did what I felt God calling me to do. My wife saw the power of the Lord in what I was doing, and she backed off. She never gave me a word of negativity about that at all, and never questioned anywhere I went, anyone I was with, or what I was doing. She never questioned anything. And I've always honored that, and I've always appreciated that, because I probably would have caved if I had a nagging woman on my back. But what I've seen in her life, just keeping on deteriorating and deteriorating and deteriorating. My wife became a hoarder. And she literally has buried herself in stuff. She's grown more negative and more negative and more negative about anything and everything. I've tried to defeat that for over 10 years now. But my words to her is just like might as well pour gasoline on a fire. My advice to her, she would always say, "You're full of..." I could tell her that this shirt is red, and she would deny it to her last breath that it was green, just because I told her it. 5 seconds later, someone else could tell her my shirt is red, and she would agree with it 100%. So a negative inside was burning within her, but it was really festering in our marriage. But I made a commitment in my life that I always said one thing. No matter what, even if I have to lose my wife one day, I'm not quitting God this time. I walked away from God once before, but I promised I would never walk away again. Even though my life privately has been pure hell, I stayed there in that home to make sure my children grew up knowing what love is about. I really feel that God saw this coming. Maybe that's why He took me down and made me not be able to work, so I would become a Mr. Mom and raise my children with the love that I was raised with. And both of them know love. Both of them dearly know inside their heart they've been taught love. And both of them also has seen hate as well. So they're very, very in tune with both sides of good and evil. Both of my children has even asked me, "Dad, why do you stay?" This is when they are adults now. And I tell them, I said, I will never, ever take the roof off of your head. You can stay here as long as you can. I feel that There's no reason for children to have to hurry up and rush out the door. Just because they turn 18 don't mean they have to leave the house. I would rather them get their careers, get it going, and until they get serious and involved with the relationship, that roof will always be over their head and always be their home. And they would be more than welcome to stay there and to save their money as they see fit, to be able to believe in what I believe in now of being debt-free. And this is the motto and the mentality that I have taken in my Christian life. It's been very hard to stay debt-free. It really has, because of all the battles. But you know what? There again, power of prayer. I've fought Social Security for over 14 years. And they denied me. This last time they denied me, it broke my heart. I was about ready just to give up on life altogether. God had other plans. He took me to a morning. How are you today?
I am sure you have heard the expression of wearing your faith.
Yes, sir.
I commend you
Thank you.
for putting your faith on your ride, on your wheels.
Just in hopes of having someone else consider the power of prayer.
I've seen it on 18-wheelers with a cross on the windshield, on the grill,
Mm-hmm.
and they would stop in truck stops and preach the gospel, preach the word. I did it myself when I worked for the phone company. I did.
God bless you.
I would give out tracts. And you never know you're being appreciated until one day I had given this woman a tract. What must I do to be saved?
Mm-hmm.
And she yells, "Praise the Lord, you're the one."
Not me.
What? She says, "My girlfriend told me you'd be the telephone man that be preaching the gospel." Because I would always give out the tract. And I said, I never got the acknowledgement. I never got the pat on the back. The Lord never brought it to my attention that I saw. And I kept it going. And then later when I retired, I would stop in northeastern Rain and go to the Grand Union or Finest or whatever the grocery store was open at the time,
Mm-hmm.
with an umbrella and tracts. And walk people to the cars and give them the tracts to people. Say nothing. Just let the tracts.
That's all I've ever done is I sat in a parking lot and just sat idle. And when people approach me, I share the good news. And I pray every day, all day long. That's all we can do is be good disciples, right? He said, go out and share the good news.
Well,
Make disciples of men, period.
for as close as we are, for as near,
Gives us more and more reason to pray.
more reason to be anxious to work, because the workers are so few.
I lay a blessing with you and I bond with you in your power and your love. May God bless you the rest of your life and give you the strength and courage to do exactly what you do. May He reach to you and your family. May He give you, even down to your kids and your grandkids, that strength and courage. That what you need and you desire to help change this world in His name. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
So there is no other than our love. None. My wife, at the last
There's no reason.
At the last minutes of life, she came to the Lord.
It's all right as long as you got there. That's the ancient goal. I was just talking that I was late in my years when I came to the Lord, and it wasn't because of any other mistake. It was because only of mine, because I was ornery. You know what I mean? And I wanted to live the bells and whistles of life.
Indeed. Here's a Catholic
Yep.
marrying a Jew and got married by Baptist.
That's about mine. I'm a mixed up one too. I'm a hillbilly and married a full-blooded Polish, and was married in a Methodist church. It's like, okay,
So it was pretty fun, but
Our offspring, the eldest one, is at best an agnostic, is denying the power thereof.
yep.
He absolutely had no belief in faith. He believes the Bible was written by men, by men, and God doesn't really exist. My youngest one is a believer. He came to the Lord. He's a little backslidden now, but he's come to the Lord years ago. And just between the two of them, the balance, the teeter-totter of the balance. So it's now, and my wife just went on. She just went home 6 days ago.
6 days.
6 days ago, she went on the first.
Oh, God bless you.
And I can't wait to see a new her because I know where she was right before. I'm excited about that, but I'm not going to forget.
Remember, the word that's been received in my heart is 2015 is going to be a life of a new beginning and a new change. And that was the word that I got in my dreams. I've gotten it 7 times. It's getting more powerful every day. Just remember, stay with the Lord, stay focused. The loves that was in your heart will always be and will always follow you and will always support you and will always send angels for you. That I promise.
This is confirmation. I got this last night from a friend of mine up north. He brought me to the boys. His name was Stephen Gold. So what do you think his background faith was? And he too serves a Jewish carpenter. And he brought me to the Lord many years ago. And he says, Bill, I've had a prophecy. You're going to do something. The Lord has work for you to do. He's not revealed it to me. Get back into the word deeply. He's going to reveal it to you and you're going to use it in a mighty way. You've confirmed it now.
I've confirmed it.
Thank you.
Now go on your way and make it count.
God bless you.
Never turn back. If you ever need strength, find me. I'm always around.
God bless you.
And if you'll see my van, and any time you can approach me at any time, day or night. And if you truly need call out, the Lord will make sure He sends them to me. He will get me in your path. Trust me. I believe that and with all my heart.
And you frequent
I reside
Northport?
at the Edgewater United Methodist, where I go to church.
Okay.
So if you ever need me on Sundays and Saturdays, I'm usually there. If you don't find me there, ask someone inside. They'll know how to get a hold of me.
I go here in Gulf Coast Assemblies of God.
Okay.
Pan American.
Also, and I associate with the New Hope Church up off of
I know who it
Biscayne.
is. Exactly.
They know me as well.
I live right next to it.
Does anyone around town that you know of a Christian faith just say, hey, do you know the prayer van dude? They'll tell you how to get a hold of me.
You know the condo complex there, the Ember Oaks?
Yep.
I live in there.
Okay. God bless you, brother. Enjoy your merry day.
Jesus.
Oh, Lord. Bless him as he walks. Heal his broken heart. I too am living with a broken heart. Sorry about that, guys. Well, no, I'm actually not sorry about that. That was just some of my jobbing that I do out in the street. And God's blessed me in many, many, many ways. And the dreams I've been having, God's been telling me that He's going to heal my land. That it's a time to be reborn and regrowth. That I'm going to blossom even again and even harder and stronger this time. That He's cleaning the crap out of my life and the negative, and He's going to squash and He's going to defend and He's going to release me of all the demons that's been under attack. pray with me that God guides me through these difficult steps. And if it means me having to walk away from my wonderful wife, I will. Because I can no longer have that negative inside of me or around me. Because no matter what, that kind of contact and that kind of love is what I need. I no longer have to worry about what they need, and I fulfill what they need, the broken. But you know, too, I'm broken as well. That's what makes it such a good romantic connection when it has God in between. Same thing as a marriage. When you have God in between you, your marriage is strong. But when you don't allow God in between you and you divide it, you have an open hole. When you have that open hole, you have nothing but allow demons to fly in. And no matter how much you love somebody, you can't make them love you back. I'm convinced of that. All I can do is release and pray. If I do walk out and leave my wife, she will be out. She will have everything that I own. I'll give her every single thing. I'll never do anything to harm her. I'll never do anything to destroy her. I've given my settlement money that I got, went to help put her through school, to give her a career, to buy her car. I've done it, even when I was broken, I've done everything I could possibly do to take care of my wife. And I'll never take anything from my kids. She's paid the bills for the last about 5 years. 100% pretty much, for the home and everything else. I know she can do it. And I'll never contest anything about it. It always will be hers. If she wants to continue paying for it, then by gosh, she deserves it. And she worked hard, and I wish her well. But they always said, love, when you let it go and it comes back, you know you're loved. If you let it go and it never comes back, then you have to wonder if you ever had it to begin with. Maybe I'm at that point in my life. I don't know. But I still feel I have to walk in faith. So what I'm going to do, because I'm in a broken state of my ministry and of my life, just to protect me from doing anything that God doesn't want, I'll probably slow down on my pestering ministry. That's where I find broken people and actually actively go after them, because I don't want any temptations. You'd be surprised at when you go and you help someone through a struggle and a brokenness in their life, they tend to get that doctor syndrome, and they tend to want to fall in love with you. But it's been very hard because of my own strength and what I do. God has always relied on that, and I've always believed that God was with me to protect me. And I've always been willing to set the stage and lay the law and the hammer down at the right times to stop the nonsense of anything that could even possibly develop out of it. But I'm probably going to just slow down a little bit on that until I know I'm sure that I'm not broken. I don't want to have any temptations and leave a door open where the devil comes in and defeats me. I will continue on my prayer van ministry, because this is the Holy Spirit, and He brings people to me through the Holy Spirit. This is my prayer closet, and people are welcome in my prayer closet because God sends them to me. It's just like this glare on this video. I am sitting in a dark, overcast, shaded area, and I've fought with this for probably 45 minutes this morning, trying to figure out why this glare just seems to be coming all over me. I've even went and tried to get the settings, and I've done everything I can do. I mean, there's nothing I can do or anywhere I can hide my hands to seem like where the glare is coming from is just coming from the sky inside the window. So, I don't know, maybe it's the Spirit sitting here, right here with me. That's how I have to see things. And I know He's with me. So pray with me. I'm sorry about how long this video is, but I really hope and pray that this one gets out to where people can actually see what's going on. But I feel I had to reveal truly the brokenness, the hurt that's inside my heart as well. Maybe some of the ones that I prayed for may even be willing to pray for me. It's scary on me because I have no way to make an income, and I have no way, so if I leave, this is all I have is my van. I'll be homeless. I'll probably have to start eating at the soup kitchens right along with the boys that I've been dealing with for the last 15 years. But you know what? If that's what I have to do, I'll have to do it, because if that's where the Lord took me, that's where He's going to take me. But you know what? I got a peace in my heart. I truly do. Yes, I'm hurt and I'm broken, but I've got a deep, deep peace in my heart. And I know God will take care of me. And just like when He had to encourage me to actually step out in faith and drive this van down the road with no money. You know, I truly don't know if I could have been here at this point in my life without having to go through that kind of faith, teaching. Because this is one part of faith here. I don't know. Would I have been able to take that step? Pray for me. There's going to be a lot of changes in 2015. That's what I've been told. And I'm sort of looking forward to them. Because I'm always stuck on miracles. And I believe in miracles every day. And I believe if a man seeks the face of God, he's going to find Him. I've found Him many times. And God says if you seek it, you're going to find. And believe me, He's had angels come my way in so many different ways to prove that to me, just that. Thank you. Thanks for being there for me. Don't give up on me yet. I probably need you more now than ever. But I love you. I love all of you. God bless you. Have a good day.